Hi there and welcome to this video on Gaia Ajax in practice. Today we're going to have a look at how you can build a complex web application using the Gaia Ajax libraries. And I'm going to walk you through this application and show you some code as well. Immediately here you can see that there are some products and services that are being sold, and here you have a presentation of some of these products. I can click here the next page to view more products, and I can go back. And as you can see, the performance is just blazing here. Also, if I click read more, you can see we can bring up a modal window showing some more information about this product. And when I close it, we're right back where we were. Also note that this system is now running in production, so it's not something I have running on my local host. You can verify this here. You can see the URL right up here, and it's important today that you really build fast applications because users are getting more and more impatient as they get a better user experience other places. Now what I can do here is I can select a region. I can select some of the therapists here. You can see we suddenly just displayed the drop-down list. I can select this therapist, select some of her products, and then click search, and then immediately we bring up this calendar where you can see we have some appointments. I can select this November 23rd where there are 5 hours available. You can see the site is localized in Norwegian, but that doesn't really matter. Also here you can see we have some products. I can click on the products to get a presentation of the product, and we also use modal windows for that purpose. Let's say I select this product right here, and then I get a dialog. I can type in the therapist code or select where I'm a new customer, or if I just want to log in. So that's the front end and how you order, and it's also coupled with SMS services and of course payment. But let's log in as one of these therapists and see how their day-to-day life will be like. And simplest way to do that now would be just this hyperlink here, which will bring up the login dialog. Then I can type in a username and I type in the password, and then click OK to log in. Now that I'm logged in as an operator on all markets, I can go to the calendar, and from the calendar I can select the therapist. If I logged in as a therapist, I would not have this option, so this is an administrative option. Let's select one of these producers. Then immediately you see you get the products that are available, and you can now use the scheduler here to select the area where you are available for on these products. When I drop it, you can see we use a message box. You can type in yes or no, and if I do yes, you can see we get these products. You can also see the location up here where these services are available. If you want to change, you can resize and also move the appointments like this, and it just works. And what's interesting with this scheduler here, and I will show you the code really soon, is that it's just 1700 lines of code. And it was made possible by using the building blocks in Gaia Ajax, like things like aspect draggable and droppable and resizable. This was all written in C#, and we'll get to that in a minute. Another interesting thing here is that you also have here you have a button. When you click it, you go to the booking overview, and you can see that here are lots and lots of forms. And all forms are localizable, and they have lists that you can choose from with different products. And now we're delivering a lot of complexity here. Also, I can look up a customer, just click change, type in some fields that I want to search on, and then I can select one of these people, and immediately we select it. And you can see overall this looks and it feels like a Windows application. It's very responsive, and you can see even with all this complexity there's not a single line of JavaScript in this solution, but it's still just pure web application technology on top of ASP.NET. Also, let's say we now click OK, and you can see here we get some some of these bookings that were on this customer, and you can click on one of these bookings. And notice that we now bring up yet another modal window. So we have the ability to just deliver more and more features as we go here. And then I close it, and we're back here again. Now that we've had a look at some of the functionality in this application, we can go to Visual Studio and have a look at how it was implemented. And of course there's much more to the application than what you've just seen, but let's have a look at, for example, the scheduler. There are multiple ways to get a scheduler in your application, and many vendors provide one. We did, however, feel that many of the schedulers were rather overkill for this solution, and they also have a kind of baggage that you have to drag with you. So by using Gaia Ajax and the mechanisms that are provided in Gaia Ajax, we were able to build a scheduler in only 1787 lines of code. And that's much easier to drag along as you are going to live with the solution for a long time. Also, you can see there were multiple forms in the applications, and each form had different kinds of functionality. Everything from loading data to diffing the data to validation, and also the ability to roll back and stuff like that. So here you can see because we had Gaia Ajax, we could build all these forms on the server using all the mechanisms that are available in C#. So here you can, for example, see a master form or an entity form that was built using generics and generic constraints, and we could couple it with entities so you could get close access to your object model. And over here we also tie it in with a validator. And that means you can do fairly interesting stuff like using inheritance and getting a really good object model all the way. And also this solution relies heavily on reflection, and there are also some other built-in mechanisms, like for example the change order processing that you saw that was doing the async update. Here you can see that the master form can take care of the change order processor. So these are very complex things, but thanks to Gaia Ajax we were able to hydrate them easily. Also, if we move further down here, you can see that it's just C# all the way, but that didn't mean that the site was compromised in any way. Also, for example, if we go to the scheduler where it's actually used in the Xibil web and components or user controls or components, and yeah, here we have in this user controls select start end range scheduler, we have we are using the scheduler inside the Gaia window, so we get the modal functionality. And here we have the scheduler, and then you can see when something is selected, we can trigger an event, date selection made, event arguments, and so this allows for a very, very cool way to select the range of dates instead of just filling out combo boxes. And you can see the complexity here as well is quite manageable. It's in a component and it's even less than 100 lines of code. And yeah, you can try and do this without these tools, and you'll find yourself in getting a headache really quickly. Now that we've discussed the hydration of complexity, let's go back to the application, and I'll navigate a month back, and here you can see the appointment we've created previously. If I click the name of the person here, we will bring up the dialog where we get the personality of this user. And here you can see the first name and last name is AB, and here you have the form for personal details. I can go to the tab for reserved appointments, and I can also bring up this if I wanted. Well, let's go back, and if I click edit here, you can see this form is immediately turned into edit mode. If I try and change the first name to Tom, and I click update, you can see we're able to detect the changes, and I can select whether I want to update or not. Let's click no. You can see the form will automatically roll back, so it has rollback functionality as well, in addition to be able to localize the form itself. If I click edit again, and this time we'll type in Tom Olson, and I'll click update. It gives me notification. Do I want to update these fields? Yes. And you can see the change order is being processed here. And this form was quite complex, but and it can be used in many different scenarios. But thanks to the ability to do this kind of forms in object-oriented C#, you can actually manage the complexity. So if I go back to the Xibil solution, I have this user control called update customer private, and here you can see we have encapsulated everything in something called a master form. The master form has this on change order completed event, and here you can see the Xibil update customer private input form. And if I go to this definition, you can see that it was just an auto-generated type for an entity form of this entity, update the customer private input, and then coupled with the validator. So this is a great example on how it's possible to create a good object model and utilize all the goodness of C# instead of having to deal with a client-server application where you chronically find yourself in a situation where you have to marshal data sets to the client just to have them hydrated in yet another object model, typically in ASP.NET Ajax solution, or a pure JavaScript hand-rolled application, or even a Silverlight application for that matter. So in Gaia Ajax we take a totally different approach. We say that there is no client, it's just a presentation device, and so we're going to do everything on the server. We do however have a very clean and smooth way of updating the client, which really makes sense in building web applications. Since we have been discussing so extensively how you can create good user interfaces with Gaia Ajax, I just want to walk you through one more example. And that is, if I go to Administration, Course Admin, I want to click on this link to create a new course. Once I create it, I have to select a market. So I'll select the TFT Private Norway, which will bring up the available products within that market. So I'll just select one of the first courses. The next I have to do is select the available instructors and the number of seats. So I'll select 10 seats, and it will be with this instructor. I can always add more instructors if there are multiple available in that specific course. Then I'll have to select an arranger and a place where the course is supposed to be. So you can either create a new place. This will bring up the new place dialog, and here you can see the forms are being reused again. And also I can search up an available place. So I'll click OK, search, and then I can find one of these places. So let's do it here. Once I click OK, we get a start and end time dialog. So I'll just pick a start time, and then you can see this scheduler, it appears again. This time it's being used for a different purpose. And we can have the course over this available interval. So this brings up the message box. Do you want to confirm this? Yes, I want to confirm it. And this brings up the change order dialog. So you can see a lot of complexity hydrated in a workflow that is both efficient and easy to follow on the web. And to be frank, this couldn't have been made easier without proper tools, and Gaia Ajax is one of those tools that really just enables this kind of easy development of these complex forms. So in this video, I'd like to thank you for viewing, and if you have more questions, feel free to ask them in our forums, or you can either send us an email, or if you're in the city, please drop by, and please take the opportunity to download Gaia and try for yourself. So, thank you.